All right, let's talk. Hello, this is Jamie White with Global Diversity News. As always, thank you for checking us out. Please like, subscribe, check us out on Twitter at GDN Network, and also take a look at our website, globaldiversitynews.com. Today, we've got a new type of podcast that we're going to try out, see where and how it goes, or how and where it goes. Um, for this one, we're talking about the new diversity industry, quote unquote, and how long it's going to last. So to talk about that with me, I have Ray Hayes and
What's going on,
Tiara.
everybody?
Yep, and Tiara Varner.
Hello.
Okay, so for this one's going to be more opinionated than the last. I mean, they're all opinionated, but this one's more so. Um, so getting back to the topic of the whole diversity industry, let me explain what I'm talking about, and then we can discuss it. Now, for the diversity industry, there's an idea that has, I guess, manifested since the whole since Silicon Valley has released their numbers, which pretty much showcase that they do a pretty, poor job on recruiting and hiring Black and Latino employees. So because of that, in around the 2014 time frame, there was a big boom in companies that sole purpose was to help tech companies find Black and Latino engineers, so tech engineers. Also help to eliminate unconscious bias in the hiring process and maintaining process, and a lot of other things such as creating different lists on websites that organizations can sign up for and pay for. That way, it would give them access to the vast number of college graduates who are Black and Latino searching for jobs in different fields, which include tech, but it also can include engineering, architecture, which we were talking about, the different sciences, et cetera. So things like that. So again, because that encompasses the new diversity industry, if you will. So helping companies find and connect Black and Latino employees by using different methods, different training and tech methods. So let's go ahead and let's talk about our thoughts on that, and also let's talk about how long we think this is going to last. So Ray, Tiara, one of you guys want to take the first stab at it? Tiara, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I'll take the first stab.
Go ahead.
I'll start
Just your
with my
thoughts on it.
thoughts
Yeah.
on diversity companies.
Yep. The
Uh,
whole.
and this is from, I guess, not my experience directly with them, but with the same type of initiative of spreading diversity. And as a diverse candidate, as long as you are coming in with, all right, I'm giving you value, with the thought, I'm giving you value, but I also happen to be diverse, which is an extra benefit rather than hire me because I am a diverse candidate, then it's a really good thing. That's the type of mindset that would be the most beneficial to both the corporation and the candidates. Is you've got to bring that value, and then it's like a extra kicker that you're a diversity candidate. And then as far as how long it's going to last, I think as long as the workforce demographics are changing, there will always be a need for diversity hiring. So I think as long as these companies evolve to the new needs of diversity hiring, that this will be a very long, if not forever, thing.
Okay. Okay. Ray, what are your thoughts on the diversity industry and how long it'll last?
As as far as it lasting, I agree wholeheartedly with Tierra. As far as it as long as the world constantly keep changing, and there's always going to be something diverse about us as human beings or people in general, there's always going to be a need for diversity initiatives. No matter what it may be, there'll always be a need for it because the world is constantly in flux. Everything's constantly changing. If it keeps changing, like Tiara mentioned before, she said, if a young man only had one arm, correct?
Right.
He's going to need an opportunity or initiative to help people with one arm, and because he's not the only person in the world that has a arm.
Disabled,
correct?
Disability. Yeah, disabled or disability.
No, disability. But I'm just saying, like, people with left can only write with the left hand or left hand dominant.
Yeah,
There's scholarships out there solely for people with a left hand dominant,
right.
who are left hand dominant.
Right.
So there'll always be a need. It doesn't have to be based off race all the time because we are, as people, are becoming more and more diverse. Well, there's always interracial relationships are definitely blooming nowadays. I mean, there's always. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. Back in the day, it was a problem with interracial relationships. Now it's kind of like it's okay. You see that commonly. So with that being said, you'll see a lot of mixed gender people across the world and globally. And it's not just in America; it'll be globally, and that'll bring about the fact of diversity. But bring about the initiative for diversity because there's not just one race; they're a mixture of races. They're a mixture of people. So diversity, the initiative for diversity, will always be needed because we're always changing.
So there's some things that I agree with and some things I don't. But I do want to touch on a couple of things that you mentioned, Ray. The first piece, kind of that last statement when you were talking about a mixture of races, right? And and if you don't know, you can just be honest because this is a question I literally just thought of when you brought that up. If there's a mixture of races, won't that eliminate if 20 years from now everybody's mixed? Won't that eliminate the need for diversity initiatives?
Since you asked the question, I'm going to ask you this before I give you an answer just yet.
Okay.
You said with there being so many different races, correct? There'll be no need for diversity.
No. I said if all races are mixing, and
if all races are mixing,
if all races mix, will there be a need for diversity for this diversity industry?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah. Because the thing is, they're going to still be men and women. It's not just solely, like I said, it's not solely based
That's true.
off
You'll
race.
still have the women. You'll still have people without an arm for disabled. So you're still going to need that.
You still have people who will be non-English speakers.
So it's bigger than
race. Non-Spanish. Diversity is bigger than race. Diversity is not solely based on race.
And I want to touch on that too. Just because there are a lot of mixed people and will be a lot of us there now, but what if we're all going into one place and then there's another place where we're not going, like engineering or something, and that race, even though it's more of them now, are still underrepresented in an area. We still would need those people to spread, and diversity initiatives can help that. And it helps because, different people look at problems a different way, and looking at a problem from every perspective, the more perspectives you get, the better answer you get.
Yep, that's true. I think there's.
So I still think that there will be a need.
Yep. I think there's two things that make the diversity initiatives key right now, and then we can talk about the future in a little bit.
Okay.
But the first piece that I think why diversity initiatives are needed is that we have a population. The minority population is rising, right? In America specifically. And unfortunately, when we're talking about percentage of jobs, so for example, the tech industry, Black and Latino, they're still underrepresented. That their percentage within tech jobs is not increasing at the same rate as the population rate. So if this does increase, or if this does keep going, then we're going to have a huge population of unskilled workers that can't meet those job requirements, and that's just going to hurt America as a whole. So definitely getting these diverse populations onto or trained in the fields that we need as as Americans, that we need that population to be trained for is definitely a necessity. So, I can definitely see why diversity initiatives are needed in that regard. Um, the second piece that I kind of want to touch on is the whole, like we were talking about, the whole idea of ethnicity not being the sole purpose of diversity initiatives, which that is definitely something that I can agree on, because there's always going to be, with the changing demographic, there's always going to be a need to help underrepresented, uneducated people, or not uneducated, but underrepresented people to get an education in order to meet those skill levels that are required for jobs. Now, let's talk about how long we think this is going to last, and then I'm going to play a little devil's advocate on this, and see kind of what you guys think on that. But you both said that essentially you think that the diversity industry is going to last for a very long time, if not forever.
Correct.
With that being said, so we've already established that, because we're including the evolution of diversity. Let's talk about what factors do you think would happen or would have to happen for the diversity industry not to exist, or
Not to
even,
you said it one
Not
time?
to exist.
yeah, what things have to happen for the diversity industry not to exist, or is that even possible?
If we all
Not to exist.
Not to exist. Yep.
if we all consider everybody to be equal, if we all care for one another, if we care, I mean, you tie in equality, but also you have to tie in also caring about one another. We're not. I mean, it sucks to say, but we'll probably never. It's not going to be equality.
Yeah, if
Like
you
you talk. I remember on our last podcast, you said that there'll always be a caste system, or middle class, and always be a poor class, and there'll always be
well,
right.
Yeah. So
we're talking about a social reform here, like a global.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the perfect
reform in order for absolute no need for diversity initiatives
or industries. Okay, so that's what you guys are kind of thinking of. But yeah, I did say that, Ray, about how there will always be a lower class, and whatever government exists, there will always be a group of people who can't succeed in that government for whatever reason, just because of different personalities. I mean, you put 1 million people in one place, some people are going to succeed, some people are going to fail. That's
nature.
Yeah. So that's why, so going into that, knowing that, you're saying that there always will be diversity in industry, and it may not be called diversity, it may be called something else, but there always needs to be an industry to help underrepresented.
Just change the inclusion to be an inclusion industry or something.
Okay, so
it'll still always be an idea of including people who are not included.
Okay.
Given that they can provide value. If there's
that's the main thing.
Then
yeah.
Do it.
That's
but typically they can offer value with their different perspectives and
okay. So
through what they've been through.
So my question, and then I'll hop in on the topic, but my question is, right now, the big issues people are saying that they have with this whole diversity industry is the fact that people feel like that they're mandated, or it's a requirement to recruit like Black and Latinos, for example, versus it happening naturally. How can the diversity industry do a better job of succeeding when some of the employees may take the information that they're given in a negative way? And is it a way to do it? Give them information on diversity in a positive manner that won't make them say, "Hey, I'm being made to do this."
So it's really hard to put a dollar amount on how much you are gaining by hiring diverse. And I don't know what metrics corporations use.
Yeah, I think it's like different for each one. It's different it's pretty much different for each organization.
And Jamie, you might be able to help us shed some light on how the diversity does provide value, because I don't know how to numerically put that on there. But it's how much does ethics, how much does ethics matter to you in your corporation? And I work in a field where it is really hard to find minority engineers that match our criteria of what we need. So what we need from these diversity companies is to help align these diverse candidates to our corporation's needs. If we need them to have 2 years of Pro-E training before they come in, they need to know that. And maybe these diversity companies need to figure out what we need or what corporations need from candidates, and that would be more helpful. I don't know. I might have went way off topic there, but
no. That includes the whole diversity industry in terms of what they need to do
and what they increase. Can do for me. It's really hard hiring diverse, underrepresented candidates, and it breaks my heart. But I can't hire them if they don't fit the bill.
Yeah, they don't.
But if you can take these people and help them fit my bill, then I would gladly work with them.
Yeah. So So let's first start off by saying the increasing, employment, recruiting, hiring, and then retention is a very hard topic, right? And it's a very hard thing to do.
It's hard.
But right now, it's a necessity. I touched upon the topic. How do you get more specifically white employees to get on board with the whole, hey, we're trying to bring on more black and more people who don't look like you, and you need to support it. And the answer is you can't, right?
You can never do that.
Yeah, it's really it's one of those things that I feel like you guys are thinking, but you don't want to say. But it's just honest. You're basically saying, I'm not saying all white people have white friends or all black people have black friends, but it's tough when somebody says, hey, when you get a job and your company says, all right, now we want to focus on a diversity initiative, and you look in the mirror and you have an idea that doesn't include you. So that's definitely a tough thing to do. However, it is one of those things that's extremely necessary, especially today when we're focusing in on today, because America is based on one sole factor, and this is the one sole factor why I think America is one of the greatest nations in the world, and that sole factor is opportunity. And right now, a lot of minorities and women, simply put, don't get the opportunity to work for these other companies. That's because whether they don't know, or just a ton of different reasons. But the biggest one is just that they just aren't exposed to these different companies. For example, when I came into Morehouse, I didn't know what the hell Wall Street was until my sophomore year in college. I had never heard of Wall Street. Right. And I mean that's one of those. I mean, think about that. Yeah, think about that. Like when somebody told me, hey, you need to apply for this company on Wall Street, I was like, why? And they're like, well, you have pretty good grades. You might, this might be something that you can qualify for and do a good job. And I'm like, I'm okay. But it's just that whole, what are you exposed to and what are your opportunities? And right now, Blacks and Latinos are limited. I'm not saying that, not all of them are, but by and large, statistically, and this can be proven, they're just not exposed to it. So because of that, the diversity industry right now needs to grow. And it is something that, because it's not happening naturally, it's something that we have to, in a sense, force, right? Because you got to put everybody and give everybody the same opportunity. And that's why I think the diversity industry right now is something that's a necessity, and it's a long time coming. It should have happened a lot sooner. And it's something that will, for the short term at least, grow, because this is what people do need to recruit more Black and Latinos, just to give them the opportunity, at the very least, and get them exposure into these different fields, and then kind of have it waterfall down to the next generation.
Real quick, Jamie.
Yep.
You're talking about the fact that it has to come naturally, and
Well, it
right
won't.
now,
It won't come naturally.
it won't. I'm just saying it won't come naturally, but we have to force it now. But there was a social experiment done, and it talked about the idea of, had the hashtag the Oscars so white, and
Right.
talked about how Oscars didn't give a lot of opportunities to black filmmakers to receive awards and so.
Right.
So they had a social experiment where they set a bunch of people in a room and they gave them a film budget. Said we'll give you I'm not sure what the social experiment was called. But I'm just gonna give you just try to go about just paraphrasing or just giving you an example of it.
Right.
I give these people $100 million. Everybody gets $100 million, and I say go do with it what you choose to do.
Okay.
And like you said, do you think their first idea would be, or any of that money would be, oh, let's go hire a black director who doesn't really have that experience? Probably no. You're really not going to care about it. That's why when you said it has to be forced upon them, because their first instinct is not to go about trying to diversify anything. Their first instinct is to make a great product.
Right.
And that product usually is based off what they see, and the people they see making these great products, or the people they see that are producing these great products. Therefore, I want to bring these people in. You don't see these diverse talents or minorities making these products. So therefore, my first instinct is going to be like, okay, I'm going to hire who I see best fit for the job. And usually you don't see minority candidates best fit for the job because you don't really get to see them as much as a non-minority, so to say.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much, exactly what you mentioned, and that's not their first thought, and not only is that not their first thought, and it's nothing wrong with that or anything. It's just
no, it's nothing wrong at all.
Their whole
I can't say, "Oh, you're racist," because
nobody thinks that they're racist.
That would be childish of me to do that.
Yeah, nobody thinks that they're racist. It's just people understand that you're concerned about getting the best product out there or service available and making the most money. So in order to do that, you're going to go with what you know. That means that you're going to go to, the Stanfords or the Harvards or whatever and hire whoever you can for a specific job, just because you're trying to put the best product out there. But these diversity industries are just the diversity industries are just simply saying, hey, increase that net or expand that net, because just because somebody's from those schools doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best person to fit your application. And that's what these diversity industries are trying. That's what the diversity industry is trying to do. Just expand the net.
That's all they're trying to do. Just giving other people opportunities.
Leveling the playing field.
Leveling the playing field.